According to the latest NBA trade rumors, Leon Rose, Tom Thibodeau, and the New York Knicks are looking to make a major trade prior to the NBA trade deadline, which is just a couple of days away, and that's why you should subscribe to New York Knicks Now by Chat Sports. First, I just want to thank everybody that has subscribed to this channel and joined us on our journey. We just crossed over 34,000 subscribers. That is a major accomplishment, and we would not be able to have done that without every single person watching this video. So if you haven't yet, subscribe to the channel. Free, informative, entertaining content every day. And we're going to be live all of Thursday breaking down the NBA trade deadline, and I want to see you there. Welcome into New York Knicks Now by Chat Sports. I'm your host, Marshall Green. Just days away from the NBA trade deadline. And the question out there is, will Leon Rose make a move to help bolster this roster and give the New York Knicks and Jalen Brunson a chance to win the NBA title? Reports are coming out that the Knicks are looking to make a bigger trade than for a guy like Bruce Brown. This is what Matt Moore of the Action Network had to say. Quote, "The Knicks continue to be mentioned as a potential landing spot for Bruce Brown, but New York has been seeking bigger deals. Brown might wind up being the plan B or plan C option for the Knicks," an outside source suggested. So when I first saw that, my question to myself was, what is Leon Rose up to? And I wonder how much that loss on Saturday against the Los Angeles Lakers kind of changes the immediate future and plans of the trade deadline for the New York Knicks. A lot of their problems have gone under the table and under talked about, as the Knicks did win 9 in a row. They won 15 of 17 prior to the loss, but sometimes a loss is a good thing, and it shows you kind of the wounds and scars of this team, which we know the Knicks still have. They need another creator. They need another guy that could score the basketball. And on top of this report, Leon Rose and Rich Paul, a.k.a. CAA Mafia, and Klutch Sports, a.k.a. the LeBron James Agency, they sat down in New York City prior to the game on Saturday night, and they squashed their beef about Rich Paul not wanting Klutch Sports clients to be members of the New York Knicks. So you have this report from Action Network saying the Knicks are looking to make a big deal. And then you got Rich Paul and Leon Rose coming to a resolution on potential Klutch Sports clients coming to play for the New York Knicks. I think a trade could be coming, but the question is, do the New York Knicks need to make a blockbuster trade? They were just the best team in the association in the month of January. They won 10 games by more than 15 plus points. Do they need to make a major trade? Do they need to restart and kind of shuffle up that starting lineup? I do know this. After that loss to the Lakers, where the New York Knicks did not score a point for 5 to 6 minutes in the fourth quarter, they need another creator. That Lakers game showed me, and I hope it showed the Knicks front office, that you need somebody else on this team that can create quality shots for themselves and create quality shots for their teammates. In my opinion, a guy that could come off the bench. The Lakers were literally doubling Jalen Brunson every single possession. He was double-teamed more than 30 times throughout that game. They looked at the Knicks roster. I know there was no Randall, and I know there was no Anunoby, but they looked at Donte DiVincenzo, Josh Hart, Precious Achiuwa, and Isaiah Hartenstein and said, we're going to make you guys beat us 4-on-3. They said you couldn't do that, and the Knicks could not score when it was 4-on-3. Austin Reeves and Taurean Prince would double-team Jalen Brunson as soon as he crossed midcourt. And then he'd throw it to the high post, and it was Josh Hart with Achiuwa in one corner, Donte DiVincenzo in another, and Isaiah Hartenstein in the block, and they could not create quality shots, and they could not score the basketball. Adding a guy, maybe like Dejounte Murray, or maybe a guy like Malcolm Brogden, or another player we'll talk about in a second, could help that. I don't think they need to replace DiVincenzo in the starting lineup, but I am going to continue to say what I believe, which is they need to add more talent to this roster, most notably an offensive playmaker and creator. I want to ask you this question, though. We are just a couple days away. It's Monday. The trade deadline is Thursday, and I want you to predict it. Will the Knicks make another trade before the deadline? What do you think? Will Leon Rose be active, or will he be sleeping? Type Y for yes, type N for no. I truly do believe that the New York Knicks are going to make another trade. I think Leon Rose and this front office is smart enough to realize that the New York Knicks have a very unique opportunity right now to not only get to the Eastern Conference Finals, but potentially win it and represent the East in the NBA Finals. It would be asset mismanagement if the Knicks did not move on from Evan Fournier's $18+ million expiring contract and try to get some sort of talent on this roster. Whether that means you're trading Fournier for a guy that has 2 years left on his deal for $20 million like Bruce Brown, or you trade a guy like Fournier, a pick for someone like Malcolm Brogden. The Knicks have to upgrade this roster, most notably the scoring off the bench. They cannot let this window to win go to waste. You are one of the best teams in the NBA right now, and you have the assets, you have the pieces, you have the ability to improve this roster. Leon Rose, get it done. What classifies, though, as a bigger move than Leon Rose, to kind of circle back to that report from the Action Network? What trade could the Knicks make that is bigger than Bruce Brown? Let's go through 5 guys that I think could be on the move and hopefully, maybe, to the New York Knicks. The number one player that I continue to think would be the splashiest, the sexiest, and the most blockbuster trade would be Dejounte Murray going from the Atlanta Hawks to the New York Knicks. We've talked about Murray time and time again on this channel, and we know, hopefully you all know, how special of a basketball player he is. This year with Atlanta, he's averaging over 21 points. He's giving you 5 rebounds, 5 dimes, shooting 47% from the deck. He's also shooting almost 40% from 3 on pull-ups and catch-and-shoot opportunities. This is the best shooting year of his career. And I'll tell you this, you can't double-team Jalen Brunson and play 3-on-4 on defense if you also got Dejounte Murray who can attack the rack and create for himself and create other open, really, really good looks for others. It's going to take a lot to get Murray. I think it would take Fournier, it would take Grimes, and at least 2 first-round picks. Maybe the Knicks are not willing to give up that much compensation for Murray. So who else could it be? Coming up next, I've got 4 more players that I think the Knicks are looking at the trade deadline and that would qualify as a bigger move than Bruce Brown, like the Action Network mentioned. We'll talk about those guys around the corner. But first, I got to give a huge shout out to today's sponsor, Prize Picks. Go to prizepicks.com/CLNS. Use that promo code CLNS, and Prize Picks will match your first deposit up to $100. Super Bowl Sunday is almost here, and I've already got my lineup ready to roll. I'm taking advantage of the awesome offer that they have, which is just more than half a passing yard for Patrick Mahomes. That's what I love about Prize Picks. They always offer these fun and awesome deals that help you really win more money. I also think Isaiah Pacheco is going to get in the end zone. I'll go with more than half a total touchdown for him. And I think McCaffrey is going to be a sneaky weapon for San Francisco, but in the passing game, I'm going to go more than 35.5 receiving yards for him. You can roll with my picks, fade my picks, but I kindly ask that if you play daily fantasy sports, you do it with our proud sponsor, Prize Picks, the #1 daily fantasy sports app in North America. It's prizepicks.com/CLNS. And remember, use the promo code CLNS, and they'll match your first deposit up to $100. Another player that I think would qualify as a bigger trade than Bruce Brown is Malcolm Brogdon, the backup guard, really the bench guard for the Portland Trail Blazers. Brogdon was the 6th man of the year for the Boston Celtics last year. And if you talk about what the New York Knicks lack, it's a player like Brogdon, who in his last 8 games has been on fire. He's averaging 19.5 points per game, almost 7 dimes a night, and he's been on fire from the field as well as from downtown. 45.8% from the field and 42.1% from 3. He could play alongside Brunson in closing moments, and he could also operate and run the show when Brunson is getting a breather on the bench. In my opinion, Malcolm Brogdon makes the most sense for the New York Knicks. He checks the boxes of what the Knicks are lacking. Someone off the bench that can run your offense as well as continue to keep that stranglehold on the pace of the game that Jalen Brunson sets, and he can play alongside Brunson. I would love to potentially see a closing lineup if Randall's not back in the next couple of weeks of Brunson, Brogdon, DiVincenzo, Anunoby, and a big man. You're spread out. Your offense is wide open. Everyone can almost shoot and go get a bucket. That is the type of player that the Knicks can need. If they do need, if they had Brogdon on Saturday night against the Lakers, the Knicks might have won that game by 15+ points. I'm not so sure that Mikal Bridges is going to be on the move, but I am going to continue to include him in these types of videos because if you're telling me the Knicks are out there trying to make a blockbuster trade, the name that would make the biggest kind of echo across the NBA is Mikal Bridges. Getting the band back together, bringing another Villanova Wildcat to the New York Knicks. Do the Nets, though, want to do that? Do your crosstown, I don't even want to call them rivals because it's not a rivalry. Does the crosstown team in your conference want to see the New York Knicks at the top of the league for the next 5, 6, 7 years? I think that's the only thing stopping this deal. But if the Nets ever made Mikal Bridges available, the Knicks would go absolutely all in, and rightfully so. I think if you add Bridges to this team and you trade out Fournier, Grimes, and every pick you have, they could win the NBA Finals. A player we haven't talked about in a while is Bojan Bogdanovic. I have heard the Knicks continue to monitor the situation with the Detroit Pistons, and Bogdanovic is a professional scorer. If the Knicks are looking to add a scoring punch off the bench, Bogdanovic fits that bill. At 6'7", 226 pounds, the guy can score from all three levels. I like to call him a professional scorer because the guy knows how to put the ball in the basket, and he does it in a very nonchalant and easy way. He also would give the Knicks a sniper off the bench to where you couldn't double Jalen Brunson, because if you did, the dude's going to knock it down. He shot better than 40% from three pretty much throughout his career. He would give you that scoring type of firepower to close lineups and games. DeMar DeRozan is the last player we're going to talk about on today's show. There's been reports that the Bulls are not looking to trade a guy like DeRozan, but my question would be, why not? You lack draft capital. You are not going anywhere this season, and you could kind of get off of a contract that's going to be expiring. You're unsure if he's going to resign in Chicago, and he would give the Knicks an elite weapon in the playoffs. I would like to see DeRozan come off the bench for the New York Knicks, because I think the ability that Donte DiVincenzo has to spray it from deep at any spot on the court really opens up this offense, and he deserves to still be in that starting lineup. DeRozan is a better player than DiVincenzo, but I think there's more opportunity for him to be successful coming off the bench for the Knicks. He can run your offense. He's an underrated playmaker, averaging 5.4 assists per game this year. I know the limitations from three, but in the playoffs, when the time is winding down, it's about taking tough shots and making tough shots, and I'm not sure there's many people better walking this earth than DeMar DeRozan at doing that in the half court. We've gone over 5 players in today's show. We are days away. Will the Knicks make a trade? I don't know. I think they will, but I want you to answer this question. Who do you want the Knicks to trade for prior to Thursday's deadline? Give me a name of a player you want to see wearing orange and blue. And as always, just want to say thank you and appreciate you for tuning in. If you haven't yet, give me a follow on social media, Twitter, Instagram, at @MarshallGreen_. I'm tweeting and I'm putting up content every day on our New York Knicks. So give me a follow over there, and let's go Knicks.